Apollo 20 mission and the sleeping pilot. High above our world, in the vast quiet between Earth and the Moon, there are places where secrets lie untouched, silent, ancient, waiting. Most of them remain unknown to the public. Some were hidden intentionally. And then there are those whispered about by engineers, mission specialists, and retired military men who have lived long enough to stop caring what they are supposed to keep quiet. One of those whispers became a legend. And that legend became a nightmare. This is the story of Apollo 20. The mission that never happened. The mission NASA erased. The mission that found something sleeping in the dark. Official NASA records say the Apollo program ended with Apollo 17. Budget cuts. Public disinterest. Political pressure. But off the record, different story. In 1976, when the world wasn't looking, a Saturn V rocket lifted off from Vandenberg Air Force Base, no press, no broadcast, no countdown televised to millions. If you blinked, you missed history. Its objective wasn't scientific research. It wasn't a test. It wasn't diplomacy. It was a retrieval. Years earlier, Apollo 15 had photographed something strange on the Moon. A massive, cigar-shaped object, several kilometers long, partially buried in ancient lunar dust. NASA logged it as geological anomaly. But internally, it was always called what it truly looked like. The ship. 3 people were selected for Apollo 20, 2 Americans and 1 Soviet. William Rutledge, test pilot and aerospace engineer. Dr. Leona Snyder, biologist chosen specifically for her understanding of unknown organic structures. Alexei Leonov, the legendary Soviet cosmonaut, the first man to walk in space. A joint mission between Cold War rivals. That alone tells you how serious this was. But it wasn't seriousness they needed. It was secrecy. Apollo 20 touched down on the Moon close to the coordinates of the anomaly. Rutledge described the view through the window.
It wasn't a rock formation. It wasn't anything natural. It looked like a skyscraper lying on its side. Dead, but still waiting.
The object was colossal, over 3 kilometers long. Its outer surface wasn't metal as we know it, but something darker, fibrous, layered like the bark of a petrified tree mixed with the plates of an insect exoskeleton. Parts of it were cracked open. Parts looked melted, like it had entered an atmosphere at impossible speed. But the Moon had no atmosphere. Whatever this thing was, it had traveled stars, not planets. Leonov cut open a section of the hull, and something like a thin, silver dust drifted out. Not air, more like particles that ignored gravity. As they climbed inside, the first thing they noticed was the glow. The walls emitted a soft, pulsing light, organic, warm, alive. Every step made the floor vibrate, almost like the ship was reacting to them. Snyder said quietly,
"It's not dead. Something in here is still functioning."
The interior looked grown, not built. Pillars branched like ribs. Wiring resembled veins. Panels looked like hardened cartilage. This wasn't engineering. This was evolution turned into technology. But then, they reached the central chamber and found her. She lay on a raised platform, suspended by curved supports that wrapped around her like petals of a metallic flower. A humanoid woman. But not human. Her physical appearance. Height, just over 2 meters, taller than any human female. Skin, smooth, amber gold, with a faint iridescent sheen, like pearl under sunlight. Face, High, flawless cheekbones, narrow jawline, delicate, elongated features. Eyes, closed, but the lids were large, built for a world with softer light. Hair, thick, dark, metallic strands that shimmered like strands of obsidian. Mouth, small, thin-lipped, almost solemn even in sleep. Hands, long fingers with an additional small joint, allowing movements humans cannot make. Across her body ran thin biomechanical tubes, merging with the platform. Not inserted. Growing. Attached to her head was a living helmet, organic, ridged, as if it had formed around her skull. Veins pulsed faintly across its surface. Snyder whispered.
She's not dead. This is stasis. A biological suspension.
Rutledge touched her arm. It was warm. The walls around the platform were covered in symbols, etched deeply, glowing faintly. Some resembled ancient Tibetan script. Others looked like star charts. Snyder believed they were navigation routes, maps of distant star systems. One engraving appeared repeatedly, a spiral with radiating lines. Leonov pointed at it and said,
This is a warning. Or a destination.
When they activated a nearby panel, the chamber vibrated, and a low hum filled the ship. The woman's chest moved. Once. Slowly. As if taking a breath. Rutledge wrote that as they prepared to extract her for transport, the cables connecting her to the ship tightened, like muscles clenching. The lights inside the chamber brightened, shifting from amber to deep red. Then her fingers twitched. Her eyelids fluttered. And finally, she opened her eyes. They were enormous, black with swirling galaxies inside, glittering like wet ink. Not hostile. Not afraid. But aware. The ship responded instantly, panels lighting up, vibrations increasing. It was as if the entire structure woke with her. She tried to speak, but her voice was unlike any sound they had heard, soft, harmonic, layered, as if several tones spoke at once. Snyder tried to calm her, raising her hands. Leonov stepped forward. The alien woman looked at each of them, and then at the great star map on the wall. She touched her chest, then the map, then the spiral symbol. A message, a plea, a warning. None of them understood. When they attempted to disengage her from the platform, the ship violently resisted. Panels closed. Rib-like structures shifted. The air crackled. Rutledge gave the order to retreat. As they fled the chamber, the woman reached toward them, not in anger, but desperation, like someone trapped in a collapsing building. Snyder looked back and whispered,
She wants to come with us. Or she wants us to stop something.
But they couldn't stay. The ship was waking up around them. They barely made it out. Back on the lunar module, they watched the ship from a distance. The faint light inside slowly dimmed. The vibration stopped. The alien woman lay still once more. Rutledge's final log entry before returning home stated, "We found the pilot asleep for who knows how long. We woke her. And we left her. God forgive us if she was supposed to warn us." When Apollo 20 returned to Earth, the mission was immediately classified. The crew was separated, interrogated, and silenced. Rutledge eventually fled the US. Snyder disappeared. Leonov never spoke of it again. NASA denied everything. The tapes leaked decades later, then vanished. All that remains is the story. And the question, was she a survivor? a scout, a refugee, or a warning from the stars we ignored. The truth about Apollo 20 sits buried under decades of secrecy. Maybe it was a mission erased to prevent panic. Maybe it uncovered something humanity wasn't ready to face. Or maybe, just maybe, it revealed a chapter of our cosmic history that we weren't supposed to open yet. Somewhere on the moon, under billions of years of dust, lies a ship older than our species. And inside it, a woman who once crossed the stars. Whether she sleeps still or waits, no one knows. If this story unsettled you, good. Some mysteries are meant to shake us. This is Mysteries from the Orb. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this story with someone who loves exploring the darker corners of the unknown.